G'day guys, in this video I'd like to continue on with more miscellaneous and angular type exercises for alternate picking. So we'll start with the miscellaneous types of exercises first. Just continuing with the theme of 3 notes per movement, we can actually have a 5 fret span for a 3-finger pattern. In other words, there's 2 frets in between each of the 2 notes, so that we get something like this. And shift up. And then descend as well. So that's a good stretching exercise, which is actually very helpful for licks in various types of scales, most in particular being the major family of scales and harmonic minors and things like that. Okay, so now we can also look at other finger combinations, and we introduced one which was assigning one of each of the fingers to each of the 4 frets, so that's a 4-fingered pattern. We can extend on that idea a little bit by, say you do a Spock shape type signal. So you've got in numerical terms for frets, you've got 1st, 2nd and 4th and 5th. So there's a gap between the 2nd and 3rd fingers. Okay, so we can apply that up and down the neck. And again descend. Another thing that we can do is let's call it an inverted Spock, and that's where there's a gap between the 1st and 2nd and between the 3rd and 4th fingers. So that's actually quite a span we're talking there. You're talking 6 frets. Okay, so in terms of fret numbers, it would be 1, 3, 4, 6, then up and continue all the way up and then descend. So these are all very handy for various types of scales. The last 2 are very handy in particular for harmonic minor families of scales and melodic minor families of scales, but they also pop up in others lesser known families of scales, such as Hungarian types and things like those. So they're good. They're not only good for building up your alternate picking chops, but for giving you ideas for licks for different types of scales and things like that. We can go on and on and on and on. I'll just present a couple more ideas, and you can develop your own based on the ideas that I'm presenting here. Okay, so another one may be to let's say do a 2-string span and decide to do groups of 5 or quintuplets. Okay, so starting on the B string, we might start at the 1st fret and play the 1st and then the 3rd. Then we may move up to the top string and play the 1st, the 2nd and the 4th. So we've got something like this. Then move up a fret and repeat. And descend. Now this exercise is very good because very rarely do you hear quintuplets in music. You hear of triplets all the time. You hear of 4ths and 16ths and 8ths and 32nds and things like that. But breaking up into groups of 5 will help you with your scales. They'll give you a quite slightly unique sound in terms of licks because of the odd note grouping and all those types of things. But we don't have to restrict it to 1st and 3rd and then 1st, 2nd and 4th. We could do 1st and 3rd, then on the top string 1st, 3rd and 4th. Or we could start with the 2nd and 4th, 1st, 2nd and 4th, 1st and 4th, 1st and 3rd and 4th. We'll do 3 notes on the B string and 2 on the top. There's countless ideas, and you should fiddle with them once you get the basic mechanics down pat, and really build up that coordination, between all different types of exercises. The last group of exercises that I want to discuss in this particular video are angular exercises, and that simply means that we work on an angle up and down, all the way up the neck. Okay, so it's easiest to start with, say, a 4-note per string pattern. So let's just, again, for simplicity, first 4 fingers, well, the only 4 fingers, sorry, for the first 4 frets, so 1 for each fret. Okay, so how this would work is down, up, then move up a string and up a fret. So we're at the 2nd fret of the A string, down, up, down, up. So keep ascending and then and once you get all the way up to the 24th fret, do the same in reverse. Okay, so you can use your Spock and inverted Spock and all these types of crazy names that I've given you to extend to those types of exercises. then we can move on to, for ease of alternate picking, we can move on to just 2 fingers per string patterns. You know, so for example, if we take the 1st and 3rd fingers, all the way up and then all the way back again, and these are really good for your licks with pentatonic type scales and subsets of different families of major scales and things like that. So for those examples, you should use your 1st and 2nd, your 1st and 3rd, your 1st and 4th, your 2nd and 3rd, your 2nd and 4th, and your 3rd and 4th. Build up the strength. Don't leave any of the fingers out. Give them all equal amount of attention so that you really build up your repertoire and all that sort of thing. Okay, so they're exercises that we can do angularly at 2 notes per string. Similarly, we can do the 3 notes per string with all the exercises we've encountered this far. Now, the most obvious ones for major type scales are the 1st, 2nd and 4th, and the 1st, 3rd and 4th, and alternating between these 2. So to start with the 1st, 2nd and 4th, and then descend, same with the 1st, 3rd and 4th. You know, that type of thing, and then alternate between the 2, because you'll encounter plenty of scales where you need to alternate between each of the middle fingers. So that would be on the 1st fret down, then on the 2nd fret up, 4th fret down, move up to the 2nd fret, up on the 2nd, down on the 4th fret, and up on the 5th. So I'm alternating between 1st, 2nd and 4th, 1st, 3rd and 4th, 1st, 2nd and 4th, 1st, 3rd and 4th, so on. You know, and off you go with those. Same with adjacent fingers, so the first 3 fingers and the last 3 fingers. So we can do all those types of things. And then last 4 fingers. These types of exercises really build up the strength of this little finger in particular, which is often, well, is the weakest and the most neglected. I re-emphasise the fact that you should put as much time you can into each finger so that you really build the strength. Okay, now to alternate between those 2 patterns, and those types of things. Then again, with the initial exercise that I came up with, where there's a fret between each of the 3 fingers. So, you know, every exercise you can think of, you should really, as much time as you can to build your chops. Once you start nailing scales and things like that, you'll really find that you just fly through them once you've got these types of chops built up. And it's great to get into the habit of angular playing, so that you ascend diagonally and descend diagonally and all those types of things. It'll help you ultimately when it comes to pattern shifting in scales and all those types of things. So I'll leave this lesson there, and next lesson we're going to introduce things called permutations, which are different movements within fingerings and all that sort of thing, and alternations. I look forward to presenting that to you. Good luck with what I've just shown you. I'll speak with you soon.